Start the pod.
Let's start the pod.
I mean, like, let's just, like, I get the competitive element, but, like, you know, we got the jokes we got.
You've had them for a long time. Your jokes are expiring, bro.
Nah, man. I'm 27. People forget our ages. I'm exactly what I should be doing at 27 years of age. If we're talking about speed, I'm exactly where I should be at set-wise. I've done a fucking hour on a platform. I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm just taking a bit. What's up, man? What's up?
Eddie Murphy had a special that time. He was
he had two.
six.
He had a couple. But I'm saying that, like, we're fine. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
the speed of it, but and you actually think about it, we're fine.
Should we start? Have we started the pod?
I'm just gonna line up this camera.
Cool. That'd have been a funny way to start. It just comes in and we're arguing. Should just come in and we're arguing this week. That's a funny way to start the pod.
We can't manufacture one now.
No, we can't. I'll keep the argument going. But do you not think
stand up.
Yeah,
we are recording.
But so sorry, we've just had an argument.
We did not have an argument. We had
Mike
a
was chatting mad shit.
Mike was chatting shit.
A conversation with slightly raised bass in order to make the point necessary.
Mike's turned up late, coming with an attitude.
No, we'll just talk about, like, you know, my comedy set. I've had it for a long time, which is a sign of that it's good. If you have
this guy, man,
jokes that are timeless, you know, you're supposed to keep them.
Yeah.
Nobody's like to fucking Jay-Z. Don't play 99 Problems anymore.
So your sets. What's your 99 Problems? What's your one about the peanut allergy in Jessica?
That can close anywhere.
That can close anywhere.
That's a hit. That's a banger right there. That's a top 10 in the charts of jokes.
Bro,
like, why are you talking like you turn over your set?
Victoria, do I not turn over?
I've seen some new jokes.
Yeah, but you turn over because it's not working, and you need to get new jokes.
What happens, Mike, is he comes on this podcast with like a vague premise. We give him loads of taglines, and then he does those on stage.
That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened.
That's why I asked Victoria back in the studio this week. I need a Northern Irish perspective on some stuff.
We've given you so many premises, and then you just like it's just a tapping. Fucking Pep Guardiola over here, and you're just doing the final 2-yard tapping at the end.
Bro, I'm the Alan Shearer of joke writing. I'm just in the box, isn't it? I'm Gary Lineker. I don't
got an eye for goal.
Yeah, I just don't. You can't teach that. You can't teach that.
The movement is good, but the quality all around the pitch.
Never see me outside of it.
You're one of those players that's like terrible on FIFA, but still scores like 30 goals a season in real life.
Oh, 100%.
You've got no attributes, but you just tap them in all day.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I'm a playmaker. You know, do I finish the dinner?
Shut up, bruv. You're in the Turkish league. do you know what he is? He's Berbatov, yeah. He had like a good couple of seasons, but didn't give up smoking. He's one of them Turkish players that every couple of years they go like, oh, look what he's done in the Chinese league. He scored a bicycle kick. And then they don't treat the rest of the season where he's just eating KFC at training.
I'm like Mesut Ozil, you know. I got the quality's never been in doubt.
Nah, you're Andre Arshavin, bro.
Vittorio's one of those new guys coming up that's just like running rings around everywhere. Everyone's like, snap his legs, innit? If you get to him, snap his legs.
He's got a Conor Gallagher quality about him. Do you know what I mean? Just pretty boy works hard.
Do you know what Vittorio is? He's one of those guys he's like at our club, but he keeps talking to the have a word guys on like Twitter, and you're like, oh, he's still on contract with us.
I love that when footballers follow a club on Instagram and everyone goes, oh, they're moving.
And then they unfollow a couple clubs as well, and then it just, creates a little bit of drama.
Do you that, Matt? I've been trying to do that on like social media. I'm trying to quit like follow. I talked about this with my girlfriend the other day, where I was just like, I look for social media. I've just been unfollowing certain people, because like I'll look at an account and I go, why am I following this girl? Like, am I following her because I care about her content, or in my heart of hearts, like when I was single, was I gonna like her post and she'd go, oh, Elliot's liked my post. We're now going to fuck.
You never done that tactical, you like a post, they like a post, and it's like, oh, what's going on here?
Oh, Michael, I have done every Instagram tactic.
Are you guys?
So many fire emojis.
Oh, bro, that's the worst game.
Because I've been out of the game, so I've been in a relationship for like 4 years, so I'm out of that game. Are you really dropping fire emojis on people's stories?
I've done it a couple times, and then just conversation has gone nowhere.
Bro, let me.
Or they'll just like the fire emoji. Just say
That's what
thanks.
happens when you start a conversation with a cartoon, Michael.
let me tell you some of the deadest game I've ever dropped. Yeah, I'll read. This is, I don't do this now. No, I'm in a relationship. Very happy in my relationship. But like, don't.
Just to repeat.
Don't you throw shit on my
I'm
relationship?
just saying, you don't need to say that. No people who are happy don't need to say I'm happy.
It's good. Yeah, it's good when you clarify it more times.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm very sad. What do we? What do you want me to say?
No, you're good. You're happy. You're happy.
Yeah. But I remember one time because like I started it's like back when I was seeing this girl follow me. She was in comedy. I was in comedy, and she went to the gym and she like put up this thing about this like espresso protein shake she got from the gym. So I was like, I'll comment about that. I'll comment about that.
What
and we
was your-
started
what was
to.
your
Oh, bro, it was literally like, where'd you get that from?
Wait, an espresso protein shake?
Yeah.
I can't think of anything that would make you shit yourself quicker
Yeah, I mean, like,
than a coffee protein shake.
yeah, that's not good. Like,
That's a digestive nightmare.
Probably.
also, where'd you get that from? She probably put the link in the bio. We probably said that on the.
It was at her gym, innit?
Oh, okay.
And what followed was 4 lines of the worst chat
Oh no.
that has ever been ensued in the DM game.
Really?
Yeah. It was appalling.
Now is that all done? All clear?
Oh my god! Let me just explain this in case my girlfriend is listening. There is no chance, even if we met, that there is zero chemistry between me and this person.
Really? You just tried to...
like it's. No, let me put it this way: we're no Ross and Rachel of the comedy scene.
Yeah.
Talking about espresso protein shakes. It's disgusting.
That would have been a good way if you managed to get in there. I would have given you a lot of credit for that.
It's weird that though when you're like attracted to a girl, like your brain just doesn't work anymore.
Yes.
Like, because all of us would be like decent to chat to at the pub or whatever.
Yeah.
But then you're presented with this person and you just glitch.
Yeah.
What you got to do is you've got to really cut them down
I think
to the point that they have no self-esteem. And that they
somebody's
can-
been watching Andrew Tate again.
Following these fucking alpha Twitter accounts.
You just, but basically, like, if they're really beautiful, make them think that they're not,
Right.
And you follow that through.
Do you
Right.
actually think those books they work?
No,
like
no,
what's it called?
The game,
the code. or
No,
whatever,
the
yeah.
game, the game. I've read like half of it. Yeah.
You bought it.
No, I listened to it, and this is the thing with it. It's basically a novel.
Right.
It's not really. It's this guy's like sort of semi-autobiographical life story, where they work out a mathematical equation to hit on girls, and also a lot of it gets confused. Here's the thing that I took from it: that was basically they play a numbers game anyway. It will work on a certain type of girl, and also, if you really just boil the book down, it's just have decent chat.
Yeah.
That's all it.
It's kind of
is.
like football analogy. If you put the ball in the box enough times,
Put it in the mixing bag, you know what I mean?
Might get one
and
on
you're
target.
number 9, Elliot Still.
It's Rory Delap.
yeah. Goodness. I was watching a highlight. Those were bullets.
Mate,
Those
I
were
saw
mad.
see it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Bro!
I forgot how fast they were.
So let's
man.
just explain to people listening who don't follow football on this. Rory Delap was a disgrace to the game on so many levels. It was to explain to people, like, because there'll be people who like MMA into this. It's Dagestani wrestling without the finishing, is what it is. It was just. It is just he would just get a throw in and he would just throw it into the
to
box.
the point, no one remembers what position on the pitch he was. I don't know if he was a defender,
midfielder, goalkeeper.
I think he was a right back.
I think all I know is that he threw the ball really hard,
Man.
and it was better than the corner.
And,
Yeah.
and
And
nobody
The
could defend it.
chaos of it.
He did so many against Arsenal. He scored so many. Half
Yeah,
the
like
highlights.
2 in one
Yeah.
game. Like, it was awful. It was awful, effective football
Do you
that
think,
made
like-
the world hate hate Stoke City.
Oh, he's a midfielder.
It made me love Stokes. Do you think that made him feel good or bad? That that's like what his main attribute was. He could throw the ball really hard.
Okay, so like in terms of that, I know we're like making an agreement to stop talking about comedy on this podcast.
Okay.
But
Okay. No, not stop talk. People like hearing about comedy.
But we've got to be like, we can't keep talking about
We're a
cancel
philosophy
culture.
podcast, philosophy comedy podcast.
Okay.
As long as we can make anything philosophical, it works.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I'm so glad that it took us 21 episodes to find out.
As we're discussing
premise.
Rory the Lap.
We finally
Comedy
agreed
philosophy
on
podcast. What position did Rory the Lap play? All right, let's make it philosophical. What is midfield?
It's taken us 21 hours to figure out what we're going to do with this podcast, and we're finally here. Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. It's good to have Vittorio back in the studio. By the way, if you're just tuning in for the first episode, we are comedians.
Yes.
Who've had an argument off the podcast. 10 minutes in, talking about Rory the Lap. I forgot to start a timer. Fuck it. Here we go. It's a fun one.
It's a fun one today. We do have a theme. We'll get into it later. But we talking about how fast Rory Delap throws the ball. Very hard.
So that's the thing. Yeah. Do you reckon Rory Delap is like you were saying? Do you reckon he's got? Do you ever meet someone who had 10 minutes of fame in comedy? Like they had like a couple live at the Apollos, a few tours back when live at the Apollo was the shit.
Which is an amazing career when you think about it.
A great career. And then they're like, yeah,
just
but
fell
back in the
off.
day, I was the guy.
Yeah.
And
but- okay, so let's say-
gig and they're not the guy.
Let's say Rory Delap, his throw-ins helped keep Stoke City up. They didn't get relegated, right?
Yeah.
And if you do a couple tours and you've been able to buy a house, you got a family, then if you're
an
not still
asset.
popping now, it don't matter. You've done a job.
Yeah.
You felt your value has been achieved.
But that's this industry thing that's quite interesting. Where if you go through like the industry way of like doing TV and doing this and that, you can come out the other side, and you kind of just go through the system, and it's great for a couple of years. You're on all the shows,
Yeah.
and then you do a couple of tours, and then when you stop getting those spots, you realized
It's
you've
done.
got nothing. Like
Yeah.
it is just smoke,
Yeah.
and then you're like, oh fuck, I should have built something more sustainable, and that's
Like a fan base or...
yeah, where you control it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're just relying on being on TV to do stuff, then there's always a day when they can just go, you're done.
Yeah.
Because it's a roller coaster. The TV is up and down. You're going to be popular one moment, and then you might not be popular for 10 years again, and then you might be ironically popular again. You can't pay bills
Elliot's
on that.
just waiting for it to go back up again.
It went up.
If I've peaked, then fucking I'm getting a job in Tesco. Like I don't. No disrespect to anyone who works in Tesco, but you know what I mean.
The most frustrating part of the
You're
pandemic
scum.
for me.
Yeah, exactly. You're stacking shelves. Shut up. Like, yeah. You know when everyone was like they're heroes.
Yeah.
You're like, they're not heroes. That's not what a hero does. When does Batman just go? I better go put some bananas on aisle 3 instead of stopping a rape. That's what.
Elliot, every time.
It never really did that though. Batman just beat up mentally ill people. I think people have been reevaluating
Literally,
Batman's legacy.
Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
It was for mental patients. And he was like, fuck these guys.
I just love that thing where people are like, he's a billionaire. He could just like buy infrastructure.
Yeah.
Like, pay for people to,
You could set up a whole welfare state.
He's like, no, I want to throw batarangs at just schizophrenics.
Low to mid-level criminals. Also, like, he should be in the asylum as well because it's a man dressed as a bat beating people up. He belongs in there.
Well, that's the thing with Batman, isn't it? It's like what separates him and the Joker. It's like, well,
People always like to say they're the same side of the coin. I never really got that. Why would they be the same side of the coin?
imagine how fast Rory Delap could throw a batarang. Imagine Rory Delap started throwing batarangs at cunts. It would be
I've been
lethal.
I've been Googling. Apparently, he was a talented javelin thrower in his youth and was
makes
touted. He was going to go to the Olympics.
Was he?
You're chatting shit.
No, man. He was touted to represent Ireland in the Olympics.
And then Stokes saw that and like, we
Was
need
he
to better that.
Irish?
He was born in England, but he represented the Republic of Ireland for 11 appearances.
Well, what a career.
I know.
I love that when they bring up like Danny Murphy for England and it's like 9 caps.
Yeah.
And you go, how many of them were against Moldova?
Stop belittling people's achievement. 9 caps for the national team. It's pretty fucking amazing.
That's good. Yeah. I feel
yeah,
like
right.
but then I
People
feel
have
like 1 cap is better than 9 caps.
Yeah.
because you're like, I did it. That was what I was aiming towards. I got it. But then when you get 9, you're
You've
like,
done it 9 more times.
yeah, but it's also like, you're like provably shit.
9 times better than the guy with 1 cap.
Would you
Will you ask me would I have a cap for England? Is that what
Yeah,
you-
yeah. Would you do a Wilfred Zaha where you go like get 1 cap for England and then you go in, and then you go, actually I'm gonna go declare for like
I would prefer to play for Nigeria.
really?
I think it would be more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you get to go away with the Nigerian boys, and you know you don't get racist abuse.
Yeah. Do you reckon in the African Cup of Nations you don't get racist?
I don't think it'll be racist.
Wasn't there?
They would be shouting so much mad voodoo abuse at you.
It would be abuse. It would stop you racist.
Didn't the Angolan team get shot up?
Oh, there would be violence. I'm not saying there would be violence.
Wasn't there a pitch invasion by the Nigerian fans?
Yeah.
And the teams were attacked.
I've worked in schools in South London. People fucking hate Nigerians from all over Africa.
Yeah.
No, in our football locker room at school, was a war zone. A war zone.
It was bad.
God, I remember I was teaching drums in a school in South London, not far from here, actually,
Whereabouts? What area?
like Lambeth,
Okay, yeah.
and it was like pretty rough school. And
Oh, were you like a white savior type teacher?
I was just
like a
teaching
freedom writer type.
drums.
What,
Teaching drums
No,
in
I
South
was just-
London.
I was-
Jamal, put down the knife. Pick up the drums.
No, there was a couple where I was like, I went into the head of music and I was like, oh, Abdi didn't show up for his lesson. And the teacher was like, yeah, he's been excluded. I was like, why? He was like, the fucker threw a firework at someone. And I was like, what?
Did you not have that at your school?
No!
You're Irish, man. You're right. That's what I thought would be.
But then the other one was, I was like, oh, this other guy didn't show up. And then he was like, yeah, he doesn't go here anymore. I was like, why? He's like a 14-year-old kid. And the teacher was like, he's pretty high up in a drugs ring, turns out.
Oh, really?
Like, he's one of the main guys.
So
And they were just like, you do well in that. You know, we're not going to try and bring you back.
Yeah.
You've got your career sorted. Don't worry about this.
Like when Steve Jobs dropped out of college.
He's going to be okay.
they actually the school tapped him up. He's paying for the new music department.
He's showing CEO qualities, just 14 years old.
I went to school in Lambeth. I went to school called Norwood School before it got all done up and stuff. I'm not going to say the guy's name, but I used to have a bit when I first started comedy about this lad who turned up to class one day, and generally, like, we didn't really get on, but we sat next to each other, and he would always come in. Like, I was a little middle class fat emo kid with long hair, and he was in Gas Gang.
What's Gas
It
Gang?
was Guns and Shanks. I believe it was a Tulse Hill gang. And
Right.
basically, I had this bit about him, and I'd say him by name. And then I once had had a little bit of an altercation with him. So a few years ago, I started like doing the bit and made it a bit better. And I was watching a show about South London gangs one time, and on the police board was a picture of him,
Oh my God.
and like all the people getting raided and getting taken. I was like, I'm gonna drop that bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could have just changed his name.
Yeah, I was just like, fuck.
What was the location?
It was just in like class. It was just like he was a bit of a bully to me. And then one of my mates was I was mates with this lad whose dad was a Colombian or Chilean street fighter. So my friend started sort of backing it for me. I was such a pussy, man. I would just make friends with people.
Right.
And so one of the lads, I knew this lad who
He was a Chilean street fighter.
yeah, he's
As like-
Like, you fucking watch your mouth or he'll fucking Hadouken you.
he's gonna kick the fuck out of a car.
That was his profession, Chilean street fighter.
So apparently, I don't know what he did over here, and then there was this one lad I knew.
That's one of those stories, you know, when a guy's like a janitor in the UK and he's like, back in my country, I'm a doctor. This guy's like, back in my country, I'm a street fighter.
Pays well.
But there was this lad Tajani, right? Who was mates with, and do you remember RuneScape?
Yeah.
So I used to play RuneScape. If you don't know RuneScape, yeah, it was basically like World of Warcraft but worse.
Okay.
It was clear, and me and my mates used to bang it out. And Tajani loved TJ was his name, yeah, loved RuneScape, innit? But he was like into trapping and stuff. But he'll treat RuneScape the same way he'll treat trapping. So he would literally be like, yeah, gonna go Grand Exchange and make that P, brother. Like, we're gonna go down there, do some mad hustling.
No,
He'll be like, come, let's go fight these Leicester demons, innit? We'll shank them up and get their P. And they treat it the same way.
That's so funny.
Fucking funny, man. You ready to talk philosophy?
Of course, that was a bit of philosophy in there somewhere.
Really?
No.
Probably.
Yeah, I think so.
What is philosophy? It's discussing things, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fair definition.
What do you want to talk about this week? I know.
Well, you know, we're talking about the philosophy of quitting, giving up.
Yes.
You know, because obviously Boris last week, that feels like such a long time ago already, isn't it? Boris quit his job. He was forced out, really pushed out by the Conservatives.
He's not gone,
You don't think he's gone?
but he's still
He
there.
don't- he is still in the job. It's funny did you watch his resignation?
Oh, yeah, he came out there on smoke.
He was, first of all, he wanted to get over with quick, but he never actually apologized and he never actually said, I'm leaving, which is true. So it's not really a resignation spit, but he's kind of been forced out. He's
Yeah.
one-
I was agreeing. I was saying that definitely happened.
Yeah. So I just wanted to get into the philosophy of knowing when to quit and whether quitting is always a bad thing. You know, now obviously this boy situation, I think that's a good thing he's quit.
I kind of, in some ways, the same way with Trump, it came out a couple of weeks ago. You see, on July 6th, when they all invaded the Capitol, there was things that came out that Trump...
January 6th.
January 6th.
sorry, January 6th.
It was
Elliot acting like he didn't know the date.
as if he wasn't the mastermind.
What was it, July? I don't know.
I'm just there dressed as Pepe the Frog with a big Q on my back. I watched a sick documentary about that. There's a sick documentary on Netflix about it. But yeah, Trump wanted to go down there and go and like egg everyone on.
I heard that like he was like trying to get control of the wheel of the car. Like, no, we
Yeah,
don't
yeah, and-
smoke.
Yeah, and the Secret Service literally had to be like, Mr. President, you were in sight.
the president.
Massacre. We'll turn it into a massacre.
You can't back the beef as president.
And then-
That's in the Constitution.
And you know, and then in some ways I'm like, I'm kind of gonna miss that. Like the same way with Boris.
Really?
I'm gonna miss the just complete lack of disregard. Because this is the thing. Like my thing with Boris is, yeah, he's quitting, but it's not like the political system is gonna change.
No.
It's the same way you see in America. Oh, Joe Biden's gone in. He doesn't know what day of the week it is, and now for some reason you can't get an abortion. So the political system doesn't change. So it's like at least there was an entertainment factor. And I know he was messing the country up. I know he was not the person to have in charge for any of these things. But none of these people are, because the entire way the system is set up.
Yeah, you say that, but certain things can be better. Like I was saying, like if it's labouring, it's probably not going to be sending refugees to Rwanda.
But they said that about the Democrats. They said they would stop keeping the immigrants in cages, and that just, if anything, increased, I think, when Biden got in.
So
I
some
think
goods
that-
happened. So some goods happened on the Biden.
I think when you actually look at
I
it,
love the left's argument of like, actually, I want my immigrants to be free range.
let them roam.
Please stop battery farming my immigrants.
I got to get those battery migrants to do my garden.
Yeah, that's literally. I let them walk around.
Yeah, but when you know he didn't quit in a way that was.
But it's interesting for me because it's more like because the job is not enjoyable. Like, but
Seems
like
awful.
it seems like an awful job to have, and just like you're always on your back, and you don't even want to do the job right. But it's just power itself that just like he feels the need to cling on to it, and powerful people in general. And I'm just like, why not just quit? Why not just like
What?
go live, enjoy your money?
Would you want to be? Because I don't really have any desire to be in that position of
power.
Yeah,
No,
like
you
being
wanna-
prime minister.
You want to be powerful in comedy, right?
No,
No,
He
I
wants,
just want my own space.
you want your
yeah,
own shit.
I'm exactly the same as you. I want to be able.
Don't put us in the same.
No, I was
I'm only joking.
exactly the same.
Did you see the level of anger I got?
Elliot got furious there.
Batman and
With
the
this
Joker.
vodka, people can go nepotism, all of this stuff, fine. A minute, he's like, don't put us in the same spot. I took real offence.
Two sides of the same coin, right?
That's why I call you. Like, I'm always like, yeah. And people can get offended at shit. Look at me getting offended there, like a
so
little
funny.
cock.
What's
But
wrong with being offended? I never
yeah,
thought.
no, for sure. But I'm with you on that. Like, I want a thing to do I want a space of I could come on, do a joke on this podcast, do a joke wherever, and it just the people who listen to it, come to the show, and that's like a nice amount.
But having an audience where you could be like, I'm going here, come here. That's power.
Yeah, it's not. I guess it's power, but it's not the same kind of power. There's a difference between.
But it's almost an act of like you're giving them something. It's not like come here and fucking march on this or whatever. It's
Right.
like, just come hang out and I'll say some funny stuff. Like it doesn't feel like a powerful position as long as you're not doing that kind of comedy where you're trying to tell people how to think.
Yeah. But you never like, let's say, I don't know, some protest was going on, you were coming and you wanted to tweet to your followers, come down to this.
Well, I couldn't give a fuck in it. Like, I'll think what my audience want me to think for money. You mad?
That's going to be very awry for you, I think.
Yeah, that could go bad
Yeah.
quick.
Oh yeah, I've got 3 more years of trying. Then I'm starting a right-wing podcast.
Leaning in. Yeah.
Then I'm going to be sat here. It's just going to be me on my own. There's going to be a British flag up behind me. And I'm going to be saying things like, the British Empire wasn't even involved in slavery. Yeah. If you read a history book written by someone like me.
Elliot doing a solo podcast, man. I always get nervous about Vittorio doing a solo podcast, man. It's just you in the room.
Behind a paywall, man.
Behind the paywall.
Yeah,
do you not have a producer? It's just you in the room by
Just
yourself.
me in the room by
That's
myself.
scary, man.
It helps with that I write a lot of material by just like riffing on stuff, and I think it's made me better at crowd work.
I want to try to do one day, but I'm too scared to. Mike said for the first 5-10 today, because you were late, you were like, you could start without me, and I was like,
you don't want to.
You could just come in and things are on fire. I don't know what happened.
Just tell people about your day or something. But you'd come in and immediately talking about Hitler and shit.
That's where I don't know what it is with Mike, because I sometimes get worried that I'm a bit edgelordy or something. I do think, oh, do I come across as an edgelord or something like that? But that's part of my overthinking and my anxiety.
But I have the same worry about my stuff.
Yeah. Oh no! Don't put yourself in the same bracket as me.
But that's just your personalities. You like a little darker sense of humor.
Well, I had like a kind of fucked up childhood, so I find things funny that are dark. That's why I'll go like and do like a joke. Yeah.
You had a fucked up childhood.
Yeah.
You talking about the Comedy Central appearance?
Huh?
You talking about your Comedy Central set? Or
Michael, you don't know what it's like when you want to hear your dad's voice. You have to turn on Radio 4.
Yeah. Hi, Dad. Are you going to raise me? No, I'm off to Milton Keynes. Bye.
It's not that far away.
Yeah, you should have picked someone so much further.
Have fun with your BPD mother, kid. Enjoy.
Well, you've raised into a fine young man now.
Dad, Mum's not cooking dinner again. She's just upstairs staring out the window. Are you going to do anything about this? Yeah, I'm going to shack up with a northern lady and just spend Christmases up there. Have fun, son. This will all make good material one day.
And it has. Elliot's doing the store now. Your dad saw the vision.
I have to walk past a fucking picture of him on my way in there.
That's where he was during my childhood.
My dad quit on, speaking of quitting, my dad quit on parenting 5 minutes into his, he literally
He did a tight 5 of parenting.
left before the light even came on.
He came back for the callback when your career picked up a bit.
Well, then we got asked to do the roast battles, and suddenly my dad was interested in parenting again.
Your dad
He was applying to text with an ex. So yeah, like
your dad MC'd your childhood. He went on at the start and was like, "Welcome to the stage, your mum. See you later."
Would you mind closing so I can get home earlier?
He's great when I fucking love him to bits. He's hilarious. There are things in my childhood I look back on and I'm like, yeah, that wasn't bad. But that's. But I think that's also that generation. They were just raised by people who like.
Listen, they did better than their parents. We'll do better than our parents. That's how it goes.
Yeah,
or at least do like level.
Yeah.
Don't make
Mike's temper.
Don't make things worse. Just make it
What's
level.
your level of parenting?
I'll just be like maybe a bit aloof.
Kind of around.
I'll be around.
A text every like birthday, but it's like 3 days after. Happy birthday! When was it? I'll get it right next year.
Birthday month.
Like, oh, see, this is why Christmas is easier. It's just everyone knows the day.
You know the dates. You know.
Yeah, but
Are you a quitter?
Me, absolutely. I was thinking about this yesterday. Because I wanted to bring up a thing I have written down. There's a quote that I like, but I've never lived my life to it.
Okay.
By Dave Goggins, who is the most...
He's fucking insane.
He's insane. If you don't know Dave
that's that
Goggins,
mixed race bald guy who runs.
yeah, he was a Navy SEAL. That's
Summed up.
the mixed
I
race
summed up.
bald guy who runs.
Yeah.
There we go. That's who the Navy SEAL who has dedicated his life.
So many people. That's like half the Olympics. That's so many footballers.
The mixed race bald guy who runs.
I just described Mbappe.
No, that could be Dave Chappelle.
It could be anyone. Go for a jog in the park in Vauxhall.
And they said something he likes. So it counts.
So Dave Goggins was a Navy SEAL. I've got a weird sort of fascination with special forces that I got when I was younger. And I'm very much into Dave Goggins. I find I'm not into him that I live my life by him or anything, but he said something that I really liked one time, that most people quit at 40%, which I think is a really interesting thing to say. So I had a version of this in the gym yesterday. Like I've been changing my kind of workouts. Thank you to Richard, actually, who listens to the podcast, who sent me a load of stuff and has sort of changed to my methods of what I do in the gym. And so I went to do my final set. I had to do 7 times 100 kg deadlifts, and I didn't have my headphones, and I did one, and I went, fuck this, and I just stopped. I just went like, I'd already done 10, 9, 8 on like other weights, and I went to do my 7 of 100, and I just went, nah, I can't be bothered. And I thought I could do this if I wanted, but I just don't want to, so I'm not gonna do it.
And that's where David Goggins kicked in, and that's when you...
I thought about David Goggins, and I thought, fuck him, innit?
I thought this was a story about how you persevered.
No, I've persevered in gym and training and stuff before, but then also sometimes, like, I'm not a psychopath in the Navy SEAL who shot people.
Yeah.
So I'm a comedian who goes and does gigs.
Also,
enjoy
we
your
only
life.
know what he's doing when the camera's on and his shirt's off. We don't know what he does in other times.
But also, like life, there's a PT I really like, James Smith, who's really good. Sorry, I'm chewing ice because my strep throat might be coming back. Take over, my ice giving me brain freeze. Sorry.
I had a moment in the
Strong.
gym a few years ago where, because I played a lot of sport when I was a kid, I pretty well know where my like physical limitations are. Like if I'm training and I go, right, I'm getting close to the edge here, so I need a break. And I went to the circuit class at the gym, and I think the problem is it wasn't very like intense gym. It was probably like a pretty chilled out, like, and there was all sorts of different people in the class, like, and they were saying like right, keep going, and I like in the middle of this set, it was just like curls with a barbell, and I just like put the thing down, and the guy was like, no, keep going. I was like, no, I am at the edge here. But the problem is, I understand why they like kept pushing me, because most people will stop way before the edge.
Yeah.
Whereas I like no, and he was like, no, pick it up, and I picked it up, did one more curl, put it down, kicked open the fire exit, and threw up straight away.
Right.
So I was like, no, I know exactly where
Yeah.
my edge is.
Yeah.
Really? See, I don't know. Like in terms of, I stop when I feel pain, so I consider that to be my edge.
Or is that comedy or the gym?
I'm talking about the gym. So physically, I don't understand like of always pushing through. I'm not very good at knowing what that always means.
I find it's a slow process with it. I've had it with kickboxing and jiu-jitsu and stuff before, where like, there's 4 more rounds left and I'm done. I remember one time I was having.
But are you though?
There's been a couple times I have been. There was this time I was sparring this Polish lad from another gym. I think he was Bulgarian, came down from another gym, and he was like a heavyweight, but he was shorter than me, and he threw these insane head kicks. Like everything was just he was just so flexible that he would just lift and throw these head kicks as his defense. So I remember I broke through and managed to get him with something, and it took all my might, all my energy. And then the round ended, and I went to sit down, and my coach was like, "This was at the gym that me and Don were talking about on this podcast before." And the coach was like, "Absolutely not! Like, you stand up and get back." And so for 4 rounds, I just had to go have this shit kicked out of me, essentially. And I do look back on it, and I go, "Yeah, that didn't do me any good." And also, the other thing is, sometimes I'd have that with training or in the gym or something. I go, "I am not here to be a professional fighter. I'm not a professional fighter," and that's why I quite enjoy the gym I'm at now, where it's like, if you want to be a professional fighter, absolutely great. But if you want to have some fun, then sit out around. No one cares.
Because that's the thing. In terms of quitting, it's not always a bad thing. It's a personal thing in terms of knowing when your limit is, knowing how much you're willing to take. So someone like entertainment industry, someone might go to Hollywood and be like, "I'm gonna be an actor and I'm gonna push through and I'm gonna make it no matter how bad it goes." And then some people might be like, "You know what? I'm going to give myself till 35. And if I don't get an audition, a fucking job or some sort of sign I should be being here, I'm going to just go back to an ordinary job." And some people might call that quitting. But is that quitting?
Oh, that's realistic. I remember there was this comedian I know, still does it. I won't say his name because that's cruel. But this guy was like trying to be a comedian and an actor. And I had like a car share with him. And just everything about it. This guy had 2 kids. Yeah. He was going through a divorce because he just kept pursuing comedy.
Yeah.
And the whole time, I just thought, and I watched him and he was awful. And the whole time, I just thought, and he posts so much self-motivation stuff on Facebook and all of this kind of stuff. And he does these videos. And I was just like, bro,
you're not going to make it.
You're not going to make it. Well, you might. Do you know what I mean? Because he was a good actor. I actually watched his show reel one time. I was like, this guy's a good actor. The problem is you're a 45-year-old guy. He was an attractive dude and stuff, but you're a 45. I know that there's ageism in the industry, and it's there for a reason. Like people go, if we're going to get a 45-year-old, we want a 45-year-old who's been doing this 20 years.
Yeah.
And that unfortunately happens. But I don't want to shit on anyone who's chasing a dream or anything, but the whole time he was telling me about his family situation and stuff. I was like, man, this is cruel on your family.
It's rough, man.
This is really cruel on your family. Just go get a nice...
Because we're very lucky in the fact that we're not entering this, because this phase of your career is a lot of like sacrifice, but we don't have anyone like depending on us to be there in other capacities. Like we can just kind of fuck around a little bit.
Yeah, on a Monday,
and we don't have people like mouths to feed. Yeah, literally, like.
But then with that becomes the as far as comedy is like, and we'll all say this, everyone in is doing well, everyone in is going to do amazingly. So, and we kind of got that know about us. Yeah,
all 3 of us. It's not.
No, I think we will. I think we did sort of thing of that next year. I also was talking to like Sean Walsh about this the other night about going like, he was like, what you guys don't realize, you're all on the cusp of this thing with the podcasting and the industry changing, and you're at a young enough age where it's cool.
Yeah.
But then I mean, we'll eventually quit before that does. Let's make that very clear. Btec Philosophers will.
It's got a lifespan.
Yeah. This is gonna.
But then the ending is not a bad thing. But carry on what you're saying.
But that, and that's when it will come my solo right wing. It's like, it's slightly browner shirts every week.
Yo, Elliot's gonna pull down your statue, bro.
That will still be there because he won't know how to edit me out.
Also, he's very against pulling down statues. Yeah. Actually.
Well, but sorry, what was I saying? But then there's also the sacrifice within doing anything at a young age. Or let's not just talk about comedy. I know lads who go into football, and it's just they don't get to go out on the weekend as teenagers and drink and smoke and try and chat up girls. They have to go to bed and be up at training, and most of you think this job's hard.
So cutthroat.
The world of football is like, get the fuck out. Like,
okay, so. I'll get back to the football thing, but say this guy, 40 years old, kids probably like not spending time with him. What message would it send if he quit now, though? Do they need to see him try and win? Maybe that's his mindset.
No, they need food. Man.
Yeah, they need that. Yeah, they need their dad. Like they need.
But let's say they don't get that. At least they can see their dad almost winning.
Ironically, he's raising people who are going to be fantastic in the performing arts field.
Right, yeah.
Because their fucking parent hasn't been around. Like, you know, this is the thing. If you have a kid, we talked about this with John Hastings last week, it's your responsibility to raise a human being now, not to go, I want to be in Hollywood. And I think the thing that it probably comes from what I understood talking to him about is, he's like, I want to make loads of money so my kids could do that, and it's amazing, and it would be great. And it's like, you don't need that. You just take them to the park. Take it, stop. And I get it, because you hear a story of someone like Ramesh, who when he started comedy, took a big risk, quit his job, and is now one of the UK's biggest, best comedians. So for sure. But for every one Ramesh, there's 1,000 of this guy.
But then you got to believe that we all believe in this room that we're going to make it.
We are making it already. For a reason that fucking Vittorio can go to places and sell out shows off the back of social media. You could do that. You've got an Amazon special. I've got a dad. We're all doing well in our own way.
We've had you get those odd signs, and I remember Joe Rogan talking about it. He referred to them as lighthouse people, where people who are further down the road than you just give you a little wave and a nod and go, "Yeah, man, you're doing the right thing." And it is people like Sean Walsh and people like Adam Rowe and all these people who have gone, yeah, man, keep coming. And you've had that for a lot. You've always been hanging out with much older people and much more established people than you. And it's so heartening to have someone go, yeah, man, keep coming. And I think if you didn't have that,
Dude, I think, Bill Burr said something like that. Chappelle saw him back when Bill Burr was really working out his persona the way it is now. And he just told him, man, it's going to take you longer, but keep doing what you're doing. And Bill Burr said that gave him fuel for the next 7 years.
Yeah. I've not to the same extent of that recently, but with someone I really respect in comedy, my agent, who's seen everyone, and he came to see me do a set and was just like, look, what you're doing, where you're trying to go, it's a harder route, but you're gonna do it. But you've just got to understand that it's a harder route, and you need to know that, going for that. And I think we all kind of have a thing like that in here, where you go, I no disrespect to people, I'd do it for the bag or something, but it being on certain things doesn't excite me, because my whole thing is I've fucking done a joke about rape earlier. Do you know what I mean? It's just those, or my type of humor might not fit on that thing. So I know I'd be on there trying to be condescending about the thing, but the audience there are actually excited to see it. So I'd be the wrong fucking booking for it.
Yeah.
And you've just got to sometimes go, that's fine. That doesn't mean I should pack in and quit comedy. It just means you have to find a different. And I know we're keeping this comedy related.
No. It makes sense within the context.
But also at the same time, it's I think there's a thing of hustle culture that exists, which is the biggest problem our generation faces, is hustle culture. So do you want to jump in on that?
No, because I was going to get you to Google this, because apparently it's been happening in the past the Great Resignation.
I literally have a...
You have,
I have an article.
Look at me, we're on the same wavelength.
What?
Right, so after COVID, everyone's been quitting their shitty jobs, because they're like, fuck this job is not providing me happiness.
Like working at Tesco.
Is this the article?
It's not even Tesco. It could be like, what's that? Sorry?
Is this the article that mentions Sisyphus?
I did not read that. Are you on the STI website?
So the myth of Sisyphus, it's a Greek myth where it's basically a guy who tried to cheat death, and then he was cursed to have to push a boulder up a hill for eternity.
Right, yeah.
And
is that a myth? No, sorry.
But it was basically loads of people during the pandemic quit their jobs, and I think it's because they were confronted with the kind of the reality and the truth of what their existence was. When they were put on furlough, they went, wait, I just go in every day and do the same fucking thing and nothing changes. What am I doing?
I could die right now.
Yeah.
And I'd be an email 2 days later, hey, there's a new job available.
Yeah.
And people were, they were baking in the pandemic.
You could have that on this podcast, by the way.
Why would you put out an email? You would set up a newsletter.
I would just I would literally go to one of the Patreons. Do you fancy jumping on the mic?
But listen, I'm making my philosophical point.
Yeah.
Okay, people were baking in the pandemic. They were picking up skills. They were reminding themselves, "Oh, life is about this shit. It's not pushing up a boulder up a hill for no." What the hell is a fucking recruitment analyst? You know what I mean?
Do you know what, man? I had a little panic yesterday where I thought I could go learn how to be a teacher.
Oh no,
And
you couldn't.
I could go learn how to be a teacher.
What?
And just move to South. I was just thinking. I do okay in comedy, but I mean, like in terms of making some real money, like go teach in Saudi Arabia where they don't tax you.
Yeah.
Go out there for a few years, come back and buy a property.
Yeah.
Like I could do that before I could do that probably by the time I'm 32.
Hold on. Are your earnings not taxed when you then come back into this?
No,
country?
because you didn't earn the money in this country.
Yeah, but in America,
Yeah.
that's how it works.
No, but a lot of people do it. You go to Dubai, teach for a few years, you make bag, and then you come back and buy a house.
Dude, they will pay for your apartment, like in some cases.
Yeah,
they
it's crazy.
Yeah, like the brightest and the best.
I know some people who've done it.
They're literally like, can you? Because we need people who can teach in English. Like the same thing, they have it in China. I wouldn't go do it for China because you are literally. They're then going to be like, the problem with that. We'll get into this another week.
Well, you're teaching the people that have been in the
It'd
concentration
be
camp.
really funny to have some like Saudi kids coming over to England being like, yes, bruv.
Talking about Rory Delap.
Get Brexit done.
But I I had that all. But then I went to myself. I would hate every second of it. I don't think I'd enjoy it. And also, I think you can get caught up in this thing of like, I want to make a bit of money and things like that. But at the same time, I know money, like whenever I've had, money affords freedom, not happiness. And happiness can come from, for me, there's a sense of freedom. But I'm pretty free at the moment. Like we're recording this in an afternoon. I'm sat around with my mates talking shit. The only problem is because I've been brought up in a Western culture and everything on Instagram, I believe that I need to be sat here in a Gucci tracksuit for it to be considered successful.
But you're not broke. You're free and you're doing okay. You can buy fucking an iced decaf latte. You know
Oat
what I
milk.
mean? Oat milk latte,
Yeah.
whatever. But the thing is, like, if you're free and aimless, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do today. I don't know how I'm gonna fill my time. That's a bad kind of freedom to have. Freedom with purpose
Yes.
of like, or at least some sort of something to look forward to. That's good. But if you're just staring at the walls, like, that's not a good type of freedom. You need a purpose.
Because this article says that kind of argues, because of that thought of the pushing the boulder up the hill, this article would say that actually you just got to find the right version of pushing the boulder up the hill, because all we're ever doing is striving to be better and striving for something, and there's never an end point. There's no end point to stand-up comedy or podcasting. It's just like you have more subscribers or you have more ticket sales or you think you're better at stand-up comedy, it's funnier, more laughs, but there's no like, I'm done, I've completed.
Jerry Seinfeld's still hitting the clubs, working out material.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So it's like you just got to find your boulder and then just keep striving for something.
But
that's it, because the people quitting, they're quitting for a purpose. They're quitting because the pay is shit. They treat me shit. I feel like there's a higher passion I could be working for. If they were just quitting and then it's like, fuck, what do I do now? Maybe there is an extent of that, but there's an intention to find something better. If you're just quitting just to quit, then that's bad. These people are quitting almost because they're having a realization.
how do you mean? Why is quitting to quit bad?
Quitting and then it's like having no sense of what you want to do now or why you quit or what's the purpose of it, I think is not necessarily good. Quitting and having an intention, I'm going to use this time to really rest and then come back again. I'm going to use this
Or
time.
even just to actively figure out where you want to orient yourself.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would say, like, it doesn't matter what direction you're going in, like, just be taking forward steps. And if you realize it's a step in a direction you didn't want to go, well, then that just rules out a direction, and that's good. That's useful.
yeah,
and
that's
then
a
you
nice
just
way
step
to
in
put it.
another direction, and it's like, oh, I didn't really like that one, but it's closer to what I wanted to do. And then you just gradually figure out what direction you want to be heading in.
Exactly. And because from the outside looking in, someone might see you quitting like, what are you doing, man? You fucking loser. Like, you were in a high paying job. But it's dependent on you and your personal boulder of what you're pushing and where you want it to go.
there was this guy, I forget his name. He was doing a set at Vauxhall the other night. He was very nice. I'm so sorry that I forgot his name because he might be listening, but he's a professional poker player.
Henry Fuster.
Yeah, and
He's new.
Yeah,
He's funny, man.
Yeah.
I always think it's tough to be doing stand-up comedy when you're making poker money.
But when he's making, but like I was really interested talking to him. It'd be cool to get him on one day actually, like because it was interesting to talk to someone who was like, yeah, I'm gonna go. I really just always wanted to know if I could do it. And so when I saw like that in him, I was trying to give him that advice of like, you know, and it feels weird because I'm 25, so I don't want to be like going to someone who's a bit older than me or something like rude, but like 9 years.
Yeah, it's experience rather than age.
It would just be like, you've got to keep going in comedy. And I know that sounds weird because of what I was saying about this guy earlier, but when it's just like, look, and I remember saying it to you at one point when you were having things where like, because you jumped to stage. I always describe it with you. You're like in jiu-jitsu terms, you're like a blue belt who suddenly started doing purple belt shit, but they've not given you your they've also not given you some of the blue belt attributes yet. They've not given you some of the respect you deserve for it. So I remember going to you one time like, you've just got to sometimes you just have to suck dick in this industry.
Yeah,
like,
man, it's rough when you're going on and you'll have both experienced this when you're going on in the middle doing 10 minutes and you look at the people doing 20, you're like,
yeah,
come on, man.
Yeah, but also never second guess the way clubs think.
Yeah.
And I remember I did 9 trial spots at a comedy store. One time I got taken in the back, told I need to be more like Tom Lucy, and then I just went and sat in Leicester Square and cried because I built the gig up too much in my head.
Yeah.
Because it used to be if you get the comedy store, you basically get every other gig.
Yeah.
And I wasn't on it every other gig. So it was like, if I get this, I'll be on these other places and and I was friends with Jamali, who loves to bring up that he got passed on his first 5. I was friends with people like Kyle Humphreys, Daniel Sosa, who were all established comedians who would all rip the shit out of me for not being on places. And like, it was just like,
did any friend give you support?
They did in a way they gave comment. If I was to speak to any of them personally, yes, but as a group,
I also think in a way, like ripping the piss out of somebody and like joking about it, it's almost a method of like taking the weight off it, to be like, you didn't make the score. Because what Elliot was doing was just putting so much weight on like, this is the most important thing. And when someone makes fun of you for it, it's almost like, oh, well, it's not the most important thing because they're making fun of me, so it can't be that bad.
Yeah, I'd also say in that group now, I'm one of the better comedians than the rest of them, so fuck them. like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm the fucking monster that they made.
Shit moves fast.
But that's the thing as well. Like, so you know, but that kind of, you know, and that sort of, I guess. No, here's the thing that I've always struggled with, and it's like kind of admitting where you want to go and what you want to do. And like we, especially in British society, we see confidence as a bad thing. But sorry, what I was going to bring up was that thing of like hustle culture. Whenever you go on TikTok or something and you see an Andrew Tate video or something who's basically just got a pyramid scheme and getting 14-year-olds involved in making TikToks for him to become famous. And all of this stuff that's going on and this hustle culture, I think that's really detrimental because it's actually really important to have a break every now and then. It's actually really important to, if you don't want to go to the gym, sometimes it's okay to not go to the gym. Let your body rest. You're falling out of love with it. If it's not fun, stop doing something every now and then.
Yeah, man. I went away for this weekend. Like, my girlfriend took me off to Folkestone in Kent. It was lovely. But it's so funny, people's reaction. They're like, oh, you gigging this weekend? I was like, oh, no, I'm going on a little holiday. And everyone was like, what?
Really?
You don't... You're fucking hell. Like, and people going, you're not at football this week? Are you away somewhere? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, gigging? I'm like, no, just chilling. And people are like, whoa. And I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe I am working too much, and I'm definitely like a workaholic and all that stuff.
Yeah, I feel bad when I'm not gigging on Friday.
Nobody's
Saturday.
surprised when I'm not gigging.
Bro,
Mike, you're gigging this weekend? What?
I was saying this. Mike turns shit down. That is like, that's exactly what you're meant to be doing. Mike waves stuff away like that, and it's like, no, bro, you're meant to be opening in Gravesend. What are you on about?
I needed to swap with Mike. I was closing, he was opening on Saturday. I needed to swap because I got to double up and go to Cambridge. And I was like, man, can we swap? It's the same money, same length set. You just be opening and you just be closing instead of opening. And Mike was like, I don't know if I want to open a bottomless brunch or I don't want to close a bottomless brunch show. I was like, Mike, do you have somewhere to be? He was like, no. I was like, Bro, just help me out for fuck's sake.
He's fucking arrogant. Jamani, your attitude.
I didn't lie to you.
I was like, Mike, do you want to headline this?
I didn't lie to you, did I? I was like, I could have been like, no, I gotta go off somewhere. I was like, nah, just somebody will do it.
I love that.
Get there
about you.
early, I leave early. You know what I mean?
I love that about you. We've got I'm emceeing a bottomless brunch gig we're doing together in August.
Bottomless brunch and comedy, man. What a combination.
It can work
I
sometimes.
don't know if it's bottomless brunch actually. It's the bottomless booze here at.
Bottomless brews, yeah.
Those shows can be brilliant. Sometimes they are a bit much, and if you get just the wrong group of white ladies in the room, then it's fucking chaos.
Oh, I'm emceeing, so it's going to be a fucking disaster.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
be,
yeah, that sounds-
Oh yeah, you're gonna really, yeah.
You're gonna hurt some feelings.
I've got to MC the annual Stephen Grant once a year does a gig with me and my dad at the Brighton Open Air Theatre. Let me say this now, yeah. I do my dad's podcast. I do my dad's podcast weekly. Yeah, there is nothing worse than some of my dad's fans.
Really?
Oh, these like old Jeremy Corbyn socialist fucking lunatics. I did not appreciate what Elliot was saying on the podcast this week. Well, turn it off. Skip through my bit. I don't give a fuck. I don't get like what are you?
Does your dad know Corbyn?
Yeah, he knew him well. Knows him well.
Really?
I could give you some inside shit.
I mean,
What do you want to know?
I don't know what I want to know. He's not really been relevant for what.
I didn't think Corbyn was friends with, those kind of guys.
You've met Corbyn?
I met him once just in Islington, but not through like my dad. But my dad knows him very well. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Like wrote a speech for him well.
Oh really?
Yeah. That started with the blonde hair and the blue eyes. No, it was. No, his son. His son follows me on Twitter and stuff, and has like been nice about some of my stuff, and then so I can't cunt him off because like,
Oh, yeah,
Have you ever had that thing in like? All right, I cannot clip this bit.
Mm-hmm.
I know out with Chris D'Elia
Right.
and like totally sound. Really nice
I
guy.
mean-
I didn't know everything.
Yeah.
But like,
Yes, you did.
I didn't. I knew about the cheating and stuff. I didn't know about like the age or anything like that. Ended up out with him.
Okay.
Man, I was out with him and his wife. Fucking super sound people.
Yeah.
And then like people like told me about it, and I was like, but he followed me on Instagram. I can't. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, you know.
You posted it like pics of you guys.
No. I wasn't like trying to smoozily. He just came to the store. He was really nice. And we went for a drink after. He wasn't drinking but his wife. And like, there was a group of people, and he was like,
Well, it's realizing that people who do terrible things are very nice to those around them. Do you ever see like videos of like Hitler playing with his kids or like hanging? And he's like nice.
let's not compare me to
Not. Yeah, I'm saying the
one of Hitler's kids.
they didn't do anything wrong.
Hitler's dog.
Hitler's dog.
But that's the thing. It's like everyone's capable of good and bad, and to kind of dissociate and be like, well, he's a monster, so there can't be any redeeming.
Yeah.
Bad people have redeeming characteristics. Like that's why it's wrong to call them bad people.
Yeah.
They're not holistically bad.
They are people who make mistakes
And he quit
repeatedly.
doing that.
As
To
far
tie
as,
it all up.
as far as we, what? Oh, you brought it back.
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
He's pushing a different boulder,
Nice,
a boulder of age.
nice.
That was a fun one this week, man. How long is that? An hour?
That's pretty much an hour. We can
Fucking.
jump on the
Good
Patreon.
philosopher. I mean,
I did
hopefully-
think what would be a good discussion, and it might have to go on the Patreon because we are out of time on the public. Of a very notable quitting was like Dave Chappelle with the Chappelle Show.
Yeah.
Might be good to
Yeah.
dig into for the next one. But
We're gonna as well, just to announce, we discussed this the other day. I'm really looking forward to this. We're actually the next few episodes, we're putting quite a bit of effort into. I've got a load of reading material.
I love the way you say that, like it's different to normal.
No, we do. I fucking watched a couple of David Goggins videos this week.
Don't announce that we're putting effort into.
No,
our
but,
next
but, but like, I'm actually reading. I'm reading the rise and fall of the Third Reich for this podcast.
for this podcast.
For this podcast. Okay.
Hey, Corbyn handed it to me, actually. So we're going to do the next few weeks, we're going to be doing like the philosophy of certain bits of the political spectrum. So we're going to be doing communism, capitalism, and fascism.
Got to make sense of it all.
Yeah, and we're gonna be coming at it in like a way of not trying to just shit on it, being like this, like understand why people go towards these things, and then see which one we agree with.
No, we'll workshop it.
I'm gonna a lot of money on us ending up as fascists.
Hey, these guys have a point.
But yeah, so that'll be happening over the next few weeks, and also the Patreon episodes are now completely separate episodes. They'll be an hour long.
Gonna answer your questions.
And things like that, and we'll be doing a lot more. And the Patreon episodes, they're a lot more in a fun way. They're a lot more. Sign up to the Patreon and just see what they are. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah,
they're a lot of fun. But this has been Btec Philosophers. Vittorio, what have you got to plug? You got Edinburgh coming up, man.
Edinburgh, come to my Edinburgh show, 2:05 every day. Tickets on the Monkey Barrel Comedy website.
That'll be class. Where you got going on, bro?
just got some shows.
What gigs you put in this week?
What gigs you dropping out of this week?
What places are people going to turn up and find that Mike's not there?
He's an enigma, folks.
Giving me a reputation that I've completely earned.
Yo, can you just let me know? Can me or Elliot just cover your gigs? Just let us know in advance, and we can send a text immediately after your text. Go, I heard you need somebody in 5 minutes' time.
I've just put out a 20-minute, I wouldn't even call it a mini special, just a set I did because I want to write some new stuff, and I'm like, I really like this material. I've put it on YouTube. Just search Elliot Still Live in London. The comments and the feedback have been very nice so far. It's good. It's a funny set. Thank you. And yeah, this has been Btec Philosophers. We'll be back to posting the clips and stuff, and follow us on Instagram. If you like the clips and all of that, share it. Let us know you love us, because fuck, we need validation. But this has been Btec Philosophers. Thank you very much.
Thank you.